so post-shift grumpy, dude. Like I can, this is my resting face right now. Like, this is the best I can look. I'm just so fucking upset.
Well, things look a little different, don't they? This is the equivalent of like living in your car, but it's like the podcast version of that. Hi, and welcome back to And They Were Classmates. Oh my God, they were classmates. So how did we get here? And no, there's nobody in the passenger seat with me. There's nobody in any of those seats either. No, we are just alone in this car for 30 to 60 minutes. Basically, if you listen to episode 2, I think, 3? It was 3. Jess did an alone episode where, because I had my work availability wrong. I swear I fixed it at the time, but apparently I didn't. So I just had it wrong. I probably I can't tell if that's going to be annoying when I have the air conditioner on. It's hot in my car, surprisingly. So I had my work availability wrong. I was scheduled during the podcast. I couldn't get it covered. And so I was like, what should we do? And she was like, I can just do a solo mini episode. I'm like, all right, cool. And I think in that episode, she mentions that I'm going to need to do my own solo mini episode in August. And, you know, at the time, August seemed like forever away, but here we are in August. So that's half of what's happening here. The other half of what's happening here, I go into our space to record, and like we have that time specifically blocked out for us. There's not like a schedule on the door or like anywhere around it, but that time is like our time. It's like 11 to roughly 2-ish, you know. It's 11 to 2 question mark. Like there's no official end time for like our slot, but it like we ideally should wrap it up around 2, you know, because sometimes we start a little late. So I go in there today with all my gear, just me, and there's like a camp thing going on at the campus we record at. And so I'm like, okay, and there's like just a bunch of kids and chaperones. I'm like, whatever, I'll just go record my podcast. Shouldn't be a big deal. And then I hear like weird music coming from the room. And we've known that someone is using the space. We weren't sure like who or what they were doing, but we've known for a while now that someone was using the space because things would just be in a different order. Things would be, the magic mouse would move. And so we knew someone else was using the space. We didn't know exactly when or why. And so I go in today, and they have a whole ass piano in there. It's 2 like old people, like 40 plus probably, and they're just staring at me, you know. At first, kind of with like hello, can you leave us alone? But then also with like you know, what's going on? And I go, I'm awkward because like I'm confused. So I go like, oh, the podcast, and then she's like, no one told us. I'm like, okay. And then they kind of like look at each other. They're like, should we pack it up and let this fucking tranny record? And and then I'm like, you can keep the space for today. We normally do this on Wednesday, you know. And so it's just confusing, and I don't know who let them use the space at that time, and I don't know, like, because like if it is through the same guy, I'm thinking he would know that that's our time, our space, but maybe their time slot is just at 12 p.m. and sometimes they do it on Wednesday, sometimes they do it on a Monday. Like, it varies. It's getting too hot in here, so I'm going to elect to turn the engine on so I can have AC for a moment because, like, it's going to destroy the audio quality, I'm aware, but I need it really bad, so... Sorry. Oh, but it also makes the camera shake. Oh, I'm gonna have to do this the hard way and just thug it out. I do have a little Wendy's blueberry pomegranate lemonade, so that'll help me a little bit. Oh well. What is podcasting if not, you know, challenge and a signifier of perseverance. So yeah, I don't know how they got access to the space. I respect it. It's like, yeah, we're making music. They had like a MacBook with like GarageBand open. I don't know what they were doing. They were clearly having fun, and I don't know. I just don't know how they got access to the space at the time we are supposed to be recording. Maybe they just went through the campus, and the campus was like, absolutely, use our facilities whenever you'd like. And they didn't check in with our guy, but oh well. But anyway, here I am alone. And I suppose I should also address like where all the episodes are. Did you guys take a break? Are more episodes coming? The truth is, I don't think I'm going to release the past like 3 episodes we record. I have all the audio. Video, I only have 2 32 gigabyte SD cards from Temu, and the video is gone. Sorry. The video for those episodes is gone. I can't lie to you. It's gone. But I just don't think I'm gonna post them because I still have to edit them, and I don't know. It's a lot of work now. Now it's 3 90-minute episodes. Well, one of them's 60. God. Just to sit down, edit, post, and it's just a lot of work. And when I fall behind on a thing, it's really hard for me to hop back on. When I haven't edited the past 3 episodes, it's really hard to just suddenly. That's got to be loud. It's really hard for me to just suddenly get the urge to edit all 3 at once, And so for a while I was like, oh, I'll edit 1 episode a week. We'll be 1 week behind, and maybe some week we'll catch up. And then, there were 2 episodes, and now I'm like, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll edit 2 of the episodes, and we'll space it out, and we'll keep it temperate. Oh, I could put the window down. God, I'm an idiot. Oh my God, it's so cold out there. Anyway, and then it got to 3 episodes, and now I don't know what I want to do. But I don't want this to come out in like a month. So I think I'm just going to post this as it is. I'm going to edit this down since it's a lot simpler and post it and kind of say like, sorry. But like the goal is to do the content, the podcast every week. Like at no point did I intentionally go like, I'm taking a week off from editing. It's always like, I want to edit. Like, I want to get it out every week. It's just a lot of work with, I work at the movie theater, so it's like at AMC theaters. So it's like, we've got some big releases, and it's like keeping up with everything in the podcast. It's like, do you know how fucking busy Twisters is? You know how strong your urge is to see Twisters? Yeah, I'm like working. I work for that urge. So it's like really, it's just been a lot of hours lately. And I'm just really bad at time budgeting like that. It's one of my worst skills. And consistency, where like if I fall behind on something, I just stay behind on it. That's like what I do. And I hate that. I hate that a lot. Yeah. And I have goals in being a content creator, full time someday. Right? And I'm making a little bit of money off of it now. I'm making about $1 a day, give or take, on just an older video of mine that's still blowing up. And yeah, like I want to be a content creator so bad, but I struggle so hard with the consistency required to actually do that. I don't know. I don't know how that gets fixed. Better time budgeting, but fuck. I also hate like sitting down and like making a plan and shit. Because, like, oftentimes it's hard to follow. If I, like, plan out my week, like, on Monday, I'm going to edit the remaining episodes of the podcast. And on Tuesday, I am going to stream. I'm going to stream on my main channel. That's so loud. On Tuesday, I'm going to stream on my main channel. And then Wednesday, I will record the podcast. And on Thursday, I will edit the pod. Like, I hate, like, making a schedule and making a plan like that. Because I'm very inconsistent on actually following through. So, like, I don't want it to be like that, where Well, and then I hate letting myself down when I can't follow through on the schedule I made. So it's like, what's the solution there? Do you not make a schedule, or do you, do you go in knowing you'll be, because like also like habits in general like tend to die really quick for me. Like I'll activate all like self-improvement habits at once, and then once like one kind of decays, they all kind of go. Not in like a self-sabotage or like life decaying way, but just in like, I'm journaling and I'm going out to meditate and stuff. And then, once I don't have the urge to journal, I don't have the urge to meditate, the urge to wake up early, and just things like that. They all kind of like come and go at the same time. And so I think time budgeting is like it's like a self-improvement habit. So it's like, I think I have a mental block where it's like, well, in order to time budget, I should also be journaling. And if I'm journaling, I should also be meditating. And if I'm meditating, I should also be reading. And it's like, but it's not even like a chain like that. It's just one big block of like, you need to activate productivity or turn it off for a couple weeks. And I've just had it off for a couple weeks. But then like I can't, if I switch productivity on, and it is like a conscious switch like that for some reason, if I switch it on, I can't catch up on things I missed during low productivity time. It doesn't work like that. It's like once productivity is on, everything, within the statute of productivity is fair game. But anything beforehand, I'm not going to like go back and touch. And I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that. I've described the strangest phenomenon possible. And it's just crazy, the way that works. And like I don't know, I haven't like tried super hard to like go against that grain. I haven't like tried like, well, I'm just gonna journal, but like I just, from my experience from turning productivity on and off, probably a good 4 or 5 times in the past like 6 months, it's the formula that like just works in my brain. But I hate like letting people down when productivity is off. That's why the podcast sucks, because it's like, if this was just a solo podcast I did in my car, I literally do have a solo podcast that I haven't touched in like pretty much a year, like 11 months, but a year. And I had a comment the other day that was like, when's the next episode? And I responded and I just said, like, truth is there is no next episode. Like, next time this Minecraft mod gets updated, I'll want to check it out, and so I'll probably get back into it, saying like I'll turn the productivity on, but as of right now there's no like next episode. So when it's like letting myself down, I don't care. When it's like, oh, I want to stream this week, and then I think 2 weeks later like, oh, I never streamed, it doesn't really bother me. But when it's like letting my co-host down, I guess that's the main one. It's also not really like an audience thing, because I've never had like regulars in any of the content I've ever made. So it's not like letting the regulars down, but it's like when you have like the co-host, and you're recording every week, but you're coming back every week and saying like, sorry, I didn't get to editing. I think like that's messed up. And that's something I don't want to like have to do, but it's just the way it is right now. I don't know. So that's why my plan is to turn productivity on and post this episode today or tomorrow. It's Wednesday as I'm recording, but I don't know. I hate letting people down, and I hate especially that it's something I say I want to do when I grow up. It's like, oh, you want to be a content creator, but you can't even edit a podcast every week. You can't even sit there on your MacBook and press 1 when speaker 1 is talking and press 2 when speaker 2 is talking to switch the cameras for just a 90-minute recording and post that, Like, how are you ever going to get anywhere if you can't even do that? I've always dreaded editing, though. That's kind of what makes it worse. Editing is just my least favorite part of the process. I love recording stuff. I love posting stuff. I love kind of seeing the interactions as it goes up. But I just hate editing. Cannot stand it. So that doesn't help either. That I've just always had it. And I don't know why I've always had such a dread for editing. I guess just because it's a lengthier process. It's just ironic that it's a podcast I'm talking about this for. You know, it's like podcasts are so easy to edit. But for some reason, I've just always hated editing. I think it's because I overload and like overwork myself. I often like try to get projects done in one sitting, and that's not healthy. But again, it's like, well, productivity switches on. Now we're a god at editing. I don't know. I also hate blaming things on like burnout. I think burnout can be a really lame excuse. I think it like when it's fitting, it's fitting. I just hate like people who overuse burnout. When it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I couldn't get to the podcast. I'm just like burnt out from work. I guess I just hate the term more. The way they use it is like the same way I'm using like just what I've been describing. I just hate when people call that burnout because that's not burnout. To me anyway. I don't know. Maybe I've never experienced true burnout. I guess I just don't want to waste the term on something that doesn't seem so bad when I can imagine a truly burnt out me. I can imagine like I'm editing in all my free time, and then if I'm not doing that, I'm streaming. If I'm not doing that, I'm working. I can imagine that, and that sounds like burnout. So just saying like, oh, I worked 29 hours this week. I'm expected to edit my podcast. I hate that. I'm going to have to go AC on full blast one more time. Not one more. It's going to be more than one. I just wish I could keep the AC on while I record it. I know it makes the camera really shaky and gross. And it also has some like, it tries to auto-stabilize. I can't really see it, but it tries to auto-stabilize, and it's a really bad video. But damn, ugh. It's so hot in here. Okay. So, all that aside, I suppose I should have a topic for my weekly or my solo episode. Oh God. I have nothing to talk about if not content creation. That sucks. Movies lately. Movie I've seen. I saw Long Legs. Let's see. Let's just recap what the past couple months has looked like for movies. I talked about seeing If. I watched The Fall Guy, the Ryan Gosling one. Loved that. Saw that like good 4 or 5 times. Saw If. I already said that. I meant to say saw Long Legs. I haven't seen Twisters yet. Been thinking about it. Movies like Twisters and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. When I go in for my Friday box office closing shift, and a new movie's coming out, and it's like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, you know, I roll my eyes a little bit and I go, okay, like anyone's gonna come see that. And then it just floods, and then it's weeks later and it's still doing numbers. And then I'm just like, well, great. And it makes me mad when a movie like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes or Twisters, when I don't expect it to do very well. Because especially movies like those are marketed, or they're like made in such a format that I've come to despise, where it's like, here's a beloved thing that people beloved, and here's a sequel to it. And that can be very hit or miss, more often a miss in most cases. Like the new Ghostbusters, even Ghostbusters Afterlife. But like that in general, I guess I'm just not used to the fact that they do numbers. I just assume everyone is like, I don't care, you know, like me, where it's like, well, I don't care. I don't care about Twisters. I don't care about the new Ghostbusters, you know. But no, it's literally how these things works. Is like you take a beloved movie and you make a 2020s sequel to it, and that's that. So I don't know. I basically, movies like that, I don't expect them to do very well, and then they do very well, and then it makes me mad, and then I take it out on the movie by like not seeing it, or if people are like, oh, have you seen it? And I'm like, no, that one makes me mad. And I describe that. But that's a ridiculous way to approach it. You know, that's stupid. And I shouldn't be doing that. And I'm often someone who doesn't really care about, like, the quality and stuff in a movie. Like, I saw Harold and the Purple Crayon, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I loved it. I'm not a true Harold head, but it was fun and had charm, you know? And I went into it with an open mind. You know, I was gonna see it with someone, and then she read the Letterboxd reviews, and she was like, actually, I don't want to watch it at all anymore. I'm like, that's crazy. And then she even like canceled the hangout, and it's like, you'd really rather not hang out than watch Harold and the Purple Crayon. Is that like crazy? What? Because it has a low score on Letterboxd? Oh my God, you know? And I hate, like, that's like the polar opposite of what I am, where I'm like, I don't read the reviews going in. I hardly even watch the trailer going in, you know? And I try to have fun with movies, and I let every movie I see have its opportunity at having fun. Where that goes wrong is like the Garfield movie, where I guess I have a little more understanding and like idea of like how this should be. And then watching it, I'm like, that's insane. But I still sat all the way through it, and I gave it its chance. And like, dude, the Garfield movie made me cry. That's the thing. That's like, and I'll admit that. Like, but it's a bad movie. But based on, it was the opening. Spoilers for the Garfield movie. It was the opening, and I think it was the window. Something about Garfield. No, I think it was him as a baby alone in the box on the cardboard. No, box on the cardboard street. Cardboard box on the street. Him shivering and being really sad. That spoke to me. That's cinema. And I liked that opening. But, like, the movie as a whole was just so stupid. And so, I think I described it on this podcast, but it was like it was never supposed to be a Garfield movie. It was like a completely different Sony animation story. And then they were just like, I mean, it's cats. Could be Garfield. And that's it. That's just how it came to be. It feels like that. And I hate that. I think that's a stupid way to do a Garfield movie in 2024 when you have, like, the opportunity for kids movies. I feel like it's never been greater. With, like, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, If, what else can I think of? Kids movies that blow me away. Even, like, Toy Story 3, even though it's kind of a lot older than both of those, like, that style of kids movie goes hard. When it's, like, something for the kids and something for the adults, and, you know, something for the emotionally vulnerable late teenagers. That's what it's about. And I hate when I go into a kid's movie. I sound insane right now. This is my most cinephile take. I hate when I go into a kid's movie and it's like very clearly just made for kids. Okay, I'll step back on that. I didn't realize that's where I was getting with that, down that pipeline. Look, but ultimately, I think kids movies are better when they're for everyone. And not just the kids. But I understand why purely kids movies exist. And yeah. I've lost the take. I don't know. I don't even know what I was, like, fully getting at anymore. I like when kids movies speak to me. That's what I like. And Harold and the Purple Crayon didn't really. There were a lot of fun sequences. I thought Zooey Deschanel was good enough in it. You know, it was cool to see her on screen again. But in general, it was kind of lame. What else did I see? Oh, Longlegs. Except, I didn't like that one. And it was specifically because the director was... And I did read the full quote, but I'm still going to continue saying the same misinformation that I was saying several weeks ago. But the director was basically talking shit on other horror movies, like, well, I'm never gonna watch Pearl or Maxine. Like, that's just bullshit compared to my shit. Like, I make real horror. And I'm like, that's stupid. Because just watching Longlegs, man, it was just, like, I was gonna say boring, but not boring, like, just pointless. The twist was dumb, and, like, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but I've noticed, like, it's weird how many of them go into either corrupt Christianity or Satanism. And I don't really get that. It's like, wait. Can we make a single horror story without corrupt Christianity or Satanism? Like, I saw Late Night with the Devil, Immaculate, Maxine, and Longlegs, and they all have, you know, Satanism or corrupted Christianity. And it's like, whoa. Like not a single horror movie without that. And, like, I don't know if I'm just missing something. What am I looking at? Oh, I was seeing this in the camera as, like, a red symbol. That's so funny. And I just don't get why. Maybe it's always been like that. And again, I don't pay a lot of attention to the genre. I only see horror movies because it seems like everyone else, like, can't get enough of horror movies for some reason. So it's just a free hangout. When it's like, hey, do you want to watch If together? It's like, nope, left you on red. Oh, didn't see it. Oh, sorry, I'm busy. But if it's like, hey, I want to watch Longlegs, it's like, yes. I've always wanted to see that movie. And I don't get that. It's weird how people's, like, people will just eat it up if it's a horror movie. I don't understand that. There was this one that came to theaters a couple months ago called The Strangers Chapter 1, and I didn't see it, but I've heard horrible things from the people who have, but it still just did numbers for no reason. And I just don't get that. I don't get why it's like people just watch it if it's a horror movie. Like, there's no level of like this one looks bad, maybe I'll see this one instead. They're always popular. And I guess I can't confirm that, like, the same people are watching every single horror movie. But, like, it just feels like it's a genre, like, everyone just goes to. But then it makes me mad, like, the way they go into it is the way I go into every movie. Where, like, if someone watches a horror movie and it's bad, I feel like that type of crowd is like, oh, you know, but it had heart. It was like this, and that. But then the same people, when it's like, hey, want to check out Harold and the Purple Crayon? It might be bad, but, you know, let's form our own opinion. It's like, no, this one looks dumb. This one looks bad. And I just don't get why people's, like, threshold and level for, like, quality is more variable on horror movies than it is for other stuff. And it pisses me off that, like I wish Kinds of Kindness had the same type of draw as horror movies. You know? Like, I get why it doesn't. It's just weird that, like, people are so willing to spend, like, the $12 on the ticket to take a chance on the horror movie. And even if they don't like it, they'll go see the next one. Why it's not like that for more movies? I don't get that. But maybe I'm just different. It does totally skew. My opinion does totally get skewed by the fact that my tickets are free. I think if I saw half the movies I did and paid full price, I would come out liking, like, 3, you know. Since working at AMC 1 year ago, I saw the statistic yesterday. I've seen 69 movies. And God damn it, I liked every single one. No, I didn't like the Garfield movie. I did not like Journey to Bethlehem. Oh my God. Dude, it was November 2023. They made a musical, like Aladdin 2019 style, about, like, the birth of Jesus. And it was so good. And the trailer looked funny. And I was like, oh my God, I'm really going to go watch a Christian film. And I did. And they were setting up the plot and everything was looking good. And then Jesus was born. And then I'm like, okay. And they were hyping up this evil king figure and what he was going to do. And I'm like, okay. And then it just ended. Where Act 2 would normally begin, that shit just ended. And I was like, oh my God, you ruined I was literally adding the music to my November playlist. Like, as I was going through it, I'm like, okay, this one's fire. Oh, I like this one. And then they just ended it where the perfect Act 2 would have been. But it wasn't like to be continued either. I don't know. They literally set up characters and their arcs and stuff just to throw them all out. That made me. I've got grumpy eyebrows now. That made me mad. And then Garfield movie I didn't like. I'm trying to think of Horizon. Here, I have to AC real quick. Let's see. Okay, Horizon. So what happens a lot is you'll notice the divide between regular movies and old people movies, where it's like, I don't think a single person under the age of 40 is going to check this movie out. It happened, like Thelma was like that. The Fabulous Four. It's really hard. You forget them so easy. Fabulous Four. I'm trying to think of one more solid example of an old person movie. It's there. Let me, March. What am I clicking? Oh, 2 for it. Any Angel Studios. Sound of Freedom, Sound of Hope, Cabrini. God, all that. So one of them recently was the Kevin Costner Horizon. He basically made a 4? God, I think it was closer to 4. Like a 4-hour chapter 1 of 4 chapters. Just this Western. And it was interesting, and then it just wasn't. And it was, again, 4 hours long with many more on the way, with 1 million more on the way. And God, it was just, but I forgot the middle part of the story. So when you're working box office, these old people who see these old people movies, and they just don't know any better. They see these old people movies, and they ask you, like, oh, have you seen this Thelma yet? And it's like, I don't want to. Like, personally, I do, because, again, like, where normal people are with, like, horror movies, where it's like, yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, I kind of liked it. It had some. I'm like that with all movies, I feel. And so, usually I have, like, the idea that, like, I might check out these old people movies. I don't always end up getting around to it, just because it's, like, a lower priority than, like, most things. But if I have free time, I'll check out an old person movie. And this was one of those cases where I wanted to see Horizon Chapter 1, because so many old people were asking me, have you seen that Horizon yet? Have you seen this one? All right. Oh, how did you like it? You know, they always ask you that. And so I decided I'm going to check it out. I'm going to have seen it. When the old man asks me, did you watch this one yet? I'm going to say yes, because I have. And it was bad. I don't watch a lot of Westerns, and that's not because I avoid the genre. It's just because not a lot come to theaters. And so, I just didn't like it, though. And it didn't help that it was 4 hours long. But a review I read after put it best, where they said, like, what a normal, like, quadrilogy would do is have, like, an arc for each of the movies and an arc overall. What Horizon does is separates the overall arc into 4 movies with no individual arc for the movies. And that's, like, a perfect way to phrase it. So, like, the entire movie was pretty much just rising action. And I can assume the second one, well, exposition and rising action. And I can assume the second one is only going to be rising action and maybe a bit of the climax. And maybe third will be all climax. But then the fourth would just be resolution. Like, just revolution. So, or resolution? Yeah. So that just sucked. And so, and then the worst part was, like, it got pulled from theaters pretty much right as I saw it. And so I didn't get a lot of old people that I could do that with. And God, I didn't like that one, though. Yeah, that's about it for movies I didn't like. I'm trying to think if there's like one more. Nah. Well, anyway, I've been recording for 37 minutes. I'm gonna call it good. I would totally go longer if I was in a more, how do you phrase it? More ventilated space, more, there's a word, more, it's like the way the air moves around, the way the temperature moves around. Oh well, I give up. I'm gonna call it here. If you liked this one, you're probably not. Actually, no. I think I have another mini-sode I have to do in this month. I'm trying to think back. I think there's one more. So if you liked it, you'll probably see another one of these in 2 weeks. And the episodes that didn't get published, maybe they'll go on a Patreon someday. I don't know. They're not like bad episodes. It's just my own productivity is tearing me apart. And like, if I go back and do those, it's a whole thing. We talked about it. Goodbye and see you next week. And ain't you tired trying to strike a chord, but it's probably A minor.